Hello everyone. Welcome to this conversation with Mr. Jayapradeep Jiothis, CTO of Verity Software. We are having him here to discuss on the architecture course iSAQB CPSA FL Certified Professional for Software Architecture. So there's a buzzword going on this conference about this course. So tell us something about it and the benefits of it.
So, Namrata, let me ask you this question. How do you build a house?
Bricks, cement, like basic utilities, like the ingredients maybe I would say. Yeah.
So, before we have the bricks and the cement, we need a plan in place, isn't it? So, first we need to know how much are we going to spend on the house, what is the land around it, what orientation do we want, and then the next person that we always go to is the architect. And the architect tells us, okay, with this constraint, with this budget, this is how we can build a house. Now, why is that architect so important? Because once we construct the house in a certain way, not much modifications can be done without incurring much costs. If we want to make, if I build a two-floored house and I put foundation only for 2 floors, now if I want to add a third floor, the cost involved in adding a third floor, unless the foundation really supports it, is very high. Okay, so when we do this with houses, okay, which we are going to live for 15, 20, 30 years. Similarly, when we build software systems are not built for 1 year, 2 years and all. They run for 10, 15, 20 years. They evolve over a period of time. And one of the most important things that we need to do when you build software systems, after we get, what are the requirements, what are the budget constraints, etc., is to architect a system, is to actually plan and architect system. Unfortunately, in our industry, that has degraded down to something called design, not architecture. Now, I'll tell you the difference between an architecture and a design. So if I build a house, I have a room in the house, I want to modify that room. I build an interior designer there, right? So there, without incurring much fundamental cost in terms of I don't need to break a wall to do interior design of my house. So design is something very specific at one point of time. Architecture is much higher level. It's a more cost and risk involved decision. And many teams were doing design, they were not doing architecture. And because of that, we know among the systems that we build a house, it stays for 20 years. We build a software system, it breaks in about 2 years' time or 2 months' time. Why? Because we don't do our architecture right. Now, industry is recognizing it, that architecture is important and more focus has to go towards architecture. That is how the experts in the world got together and formed this non-profit body called iSAQB. And from then, this has become the most popular course for both budding architects, people who want to get into architecture, even normal developers who want to create systems better, and for our already existing architects to prove their skill to the world and prove what they're capable of to the world. Okay, so hence this course is what you call as a buffet of, or a toolbox of things that any good software developer and any good lead should have, okay, so that they build better systems, and they build systems where people can live for 50 years like how we build houses.
Thank you so much, JP. No one could have put better the definition and the explanation of this course. So, can you please tell me more about the significance of this course, particularly in the automotive industry?
Now, automotive industry is very special. Why? Once I built a car and put it into production, can I change that car? Fundamentally, can I change that car? Say, I am Maruti Motors or Suzuki. I build a car, I put it into production, and then suddenly I decide, you know what, I want to build in this feature also there. It's not possible. Or if there is a major flaw in terms of, today most of the automotive is driven by software, and we are talking in this conference also about SDV, software driven vehicles or software developed vehicles. Okay, so now tomorrow at the software end, if there is an issue, you see a lot of news about recalls happening because of faulty. And a recall is not for one, it's not for two cars, it's for the million cars out there, or hundreds of thousands of cars out there. So any flaw that you make, especially at a software and a technology level, uh, in the automotive industry, is very, very costly for the industry. So that is why in automotive industry it's very, very important to set that architecture and platform correct, because once you put it into production, making changes to that is very, very, very difficult. It's extremely difficult. The maximum that you can do is give an over there update, software update, but software updates will not solve most of your other problems, especially if it is a architectural level problem. If you have not included a rain sensor, if your vehicle doesn't have the capability of a rain sensor, you cannot add a rain sensor at a later stage of time, even if your competitors make that a standard product. If you don't have the ability to support 8 airbags and you support only 2 airbags, you cannot support 8 bags later on. Even if you want to, you can't even retrofit it, even if you want to, because the architecture is already frozen. So it becomes very, very important at the automotive industry, since once things are decided and goes into production, and it then goes into millions of vehicles and thousands of vehicles, and safety is very, very important. One flaw and lives can be affected. So architecture is of primary importance. Modeling and architecture is of primary importance in the automotive industry, and that is why the automotive industry has taken up this course onto in a very, very big way. And they're saying it's not only our architects, even our developers should know the contents of this course and the certification. We want them to prove their skills, so that we are building better vehicles that might have lesser flaws.
Correct. Thank you, JP, for answering that. As you said, my next question was who is this course best suited for? Some of you mentioned designers or architects, leads. What else? Who all should endorse this course?
So for me, anybody who is writing software which is going to be used long term. When I say long term, anything more than a year, 2 years, and a system is going to be used long term. It has to be maintained in the future. All of them, be that a developer, be that even a validation test engineer who has to check for these things, be that a module lead, be that a technical lead, be that a platform architect, be that a designer, all of them should do this course, because I have been doing multiple batches of this course. I have very, very senior architects who have been in this field for 20 years, sit for this course and say, oh, yeah, we knew about this concept, we forgot about it, and this concept is going to help us for our upcoming project, or we had completely forgotten that these particular aspects are important when we are designing systems. So it's for the right from the top to the bottom. Whoever feels their software has to be maintainable in the future, whoever feels they need to build software like how we build houses which last for, or we build monuments which last for thousands of years. That is their goal. And they want to do good programming, not just Google-driven development where you copy-paste from Google. This course is for them.
Perfect. Thank you so much for answering that. And automotive industry tech leads, watch out. This course is for you. So please go ahead. So you mentioned that you have done this course in multiple companies. So can you please name those companies who have been benefited by taking this architecture program?
So there are customer names I can take. There are customer names I am not allowed to take. So we have done it for very large investment banks. We have done it for financial corporations. We have done it for Bosch. We have done it for Volkswagen. We have done it for Value Group. We have done it for ZF. So right from the OEMs, the actual vehicle manufacturers, to the component manufacturers, to enterprise software, people who are building financial software, people who are building stock market software, we have done it across. And I don't know of a single company that I can name who has not benefited from this course.
Thank you. So starting from OEM, suppliers, tools, services company, everyone is benefited. Thank you so much. That's wonderful to know. Last but not the least, JP, people say it's difficult to clear exam and get the CPSA certified, keeping on the skills which it requires and to pass the exam. So what is your thought on this and why people say it?
So it's intentionally a difficult exam, because if you want to prove your skills as an architect, as a technical leader, you need to be tested at that level. Okay, so it's important. So if I teach you a concept, nobody will ask you to recall that concept. What is this called as? No, this certification is not about that. This certification is about, okay, I give you this concept. Among all of this, where all is it applicable? So you have to start thinking. Okay, I have this pen here. Nobody is going to ask you in the certification, what is this called? Is this called a pen, pencil, or what the color of it is? Rather, I will ask you, I have this pen and I have a bottle in front of me. How can I use this pen? What are the different ways in which I can use this pen to open that bottle? Okay, so you will have to really think about it. Like next, there is a lot of negative marking and things around there. So it is a difficult exam. But what we have done when we structure the courses, there is a 2-point agenda. One, the primary agenda is people should learn the concept. That's the most important thing, and they should benefit in their work. Else, there is no point in doing such courses. Next is they should pass the exam. Passing the exam shows that, okay, they have reached the skill and it is a global recognition. So for that, each time when we teach a concept, we take them across scenarios saying that, okay, in this scenario, if a question comes, how would you answer? So we are probably the only company across the world who takes that approach, and that's why we have much higher pass rates compared to our peers in this industry. And we also have created our own mock papers, which are, I would say, 2 times tougher than the actual paper. So when people attempt it and then get disheartened and come back to me in JP, I have failed your mock paper. And I said, it was intentional that you fail your mock paper, because that's what tell you what are your gaps, and then we help them through that.
Thank you so much, JP. So yes, people say it's difficult to pass exam, but if you have got skills and if you have gotten thinking capacity, we have got you covered. So Verity is there for helping you with the training and certifications. Thank you, JP. It was wonderful having you, and thank you for the conversation. Also, we have wonderful coach, CTO of Verity, who is also authorized and accredited coach for iSAQB. So yes, we are there to help. Thank you.